Alright guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to find or search for specific documents based on whatever criteria you want to use. So say at first what we wanted to do is we wanted to get all the goalies from the team. Well, what we do is call DB players, and on our collection, before we learn about this function called find. Now find you use whenever you're trying to select data, and since we just left this blank, by default it's going to return every single document in your collection, in other words every single player. Now if you only want to search for specific players such as the goalies, what you need to do is you need to throw in some search criteria. So in your curly braces you're going to want to give it a name value pair or a key value pair. So I'll say position goalie, and if we run this, it's going to give us back 2 goalies. Scroll down here, Marc-Andre Fleury and Thomas Greiss. So this is going to return all the goalies for your team, and if you just want to return one goalie, then you use find one, and it's going to give you the first one, which was Marc-Andre Fleury. Now if you wanted to get more specific, so say for example you wanted to search all players who were defensemen and they were 21. So maybe you're looking for the next hot young defenseman. I don't mean hot like they're cute, I mean like they're the hottest thing to come up since Sidney Crosby, who is the best player in the world, by the way. So what you do is, before, got all my crap messed up now, so you'd use position defenseman, and you can also include another piece of search criteria by separating it with a comma. So age 21, the numbers don't go inside quotation marks, and search. And you can actually prettify that, be a little bit easier to read. Alright, so now as you can see, we found one defenseman, Derek Pouliot, who was 21, and of course a defenseman. Now if you ever want to search based on OR criteria, for example if you wanted to say give me everyone who plays left wing or right wing, this is what you would do. DB players find. Now inside here you'd have an object, and anytime you see the $sign, that means that it means something special to Mongo. All the special keywords are preceded by a $sign. So you would say OR, and that just tells it you're going to use some OR criteria. Now inside an array, just like before, throw in whatever criteria that you want. So position, what would you say, left wings, and let me just copy this because I'm lazy, and right wing. And you need to separate all of your criteria with commas. So what this is going to do whenever we run it is it's going to return all players who play either right wing or left wing. So say that you wanted to find all the players who were greater than 30. I don't know, maybe the general manager said to cut all the players who are getting too old. So what you would do in that case is call DB players find, and as your search criteria you would want to search based on their age, and as the value, what your object would be is this. The keyword for Mongo is GT, which means greater than, and then type in some value such as 30. Now, let me organize this so you guys can see it a little bit better. Now there's also some other search clauses. LT is a less than. You can also have LTE or GTE, which means greater than or equal to 30, and there's also a last one called NE, and this would return all players not equal to 30, so everyone except the ones that were 30 years old. However, we just want the ones who are greater than 30, so if I run this, this is pretty much going to give me all of my old players. So I don't know if you guys saw that, but as you can see, they were all older than 30. Now we already know that whenever we want to do something like search for all the players on a team who are centers, then what we would do is we would just use position center and run that. But check it out, it's giving us all this information right here, and most of the time you don't want every single bit of information inside your document. Say that we only wanted their name, well, all this other crap would be kind of a waste. It would not only take up more time, but say that, you know, we only had limited memory, it would waste all of our memory, not very efficient. So what we would do in that instance is we would actually add one more parameter inside find. Now inside this object, what we could do is we could say, what data do we want to return? Well, we would say name 1, and anytime you have a 1 after it, it means return this. This is true. Now another thing I want to point out is whenever you're searching for documents, it's always going to return this object ID by default, so you have to actually explicitly say that ID I don't want to return. So this pretty much gives you the same results before. You're always going to find all of the centers, but now you're saying just return the name and not the object ID, and I think I messed something up. There we go. Alright, so run this and check it out. Actually, let me clear that so you guys can see a little bit easier. Alright, so now it finds all the centers, but it returns only their name. And I'll show you guys what I was talking about before. If you don't explicitly say not return the object ID, then it's going to return the object ID in your results. So just some other things real quick. Alright, so right now we're returning all the centers and just their name, really simple. But say that we only wanted to return 3 of them instead of like all of them. Maybe we had like 100 in the league. We only wanted 3. Well, what we would do is we would tack on another method called limit 3 or whatever number you wanted to return, and this would return the first 3. Now you could also, instead of limit, there's another cool function called skip, and what this does is it skips the first couple of results. So if we skip the first 2, obviously the first 2 are Sidney Crosby and Sidney Crosby and Maxim Lapierre. It would skip those 2, so it would start with Evgeny Malkin and return the what? Return the rest. Kind of a tongue twister. So again, anytime you want to limit the results, use limit. Anytime you want to skip over the first couple of results, use skip. So a lot of information I blasted into your guys' head. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.